Hey everyone! So a few weeks ago I posted a tweet suggesting that entities should only render the glowing effect around visible parts. And I got a good response from that tweet, so I ended up making a suggestion on the Minecraft Suggestions subreddit. And a few hours later, Sarge actually replied saying that he'd add it in the next snapshot for marker armor stands. And it was actually added, and I had to play around with it for a little bit. I made some basic arrows and stuff, and it was cool, but I couldn't really think of any good ideas. Until yesterday, when Reddit user Tatsu had made his Minecraft skin completely white, but when he had the glowing effect on himself, it rendered this sort of Steve, so it was kind of like a secret hidden message kind of thing. And that gave me the idea to create a sort of hidden secret messages using the glowing effect. Okay, so first of all, let's take a look at the differences between two armor stands, one of which has the marker tag, one of which does not. So if I apply the glowing effect to both of them, you can see that with this one, the whole entity renders with the glowing effect, whereas with this one, only the equipment that's actually visible is rendered with the glowing effect. So I've made a few demonstrations over here of what's possible using this new marker tag functionality and the idea that you can create sort of hidden texts and cool things using this technique. So up here I've got an armor stand with a model in its head slot, and that model is just a plane with a texture applied to it, and that texture just says basic text, obviously with transparency around it. And what's cool is you can apply a glowing effect to this, and it renders the glowing effect around each letter. So this is just one model, but it renders the glowing effect around each letter, which is pretty cool. And that means you can actually create sort of secret messages. So if I go ahead and press this button to teleport the armor stand down into these bunch of blocks over here, and then press it, you can see that the message is sort of revealed from inside the blocks. Now the type of block you use doesn't really matter. I just use black wool just to make it sort of more obvious. And I've set up a few other examples over here. So you can use different fonts, obviously. It doesn't even have to be, words. It can be sort of images or whatever. But try to use thicker fonts, because with thinner fonts it gets a bit harder to read as you go further away. You can also use scoreboard teams to apply different sort of colors to the text, so you can create colors like this, and a little sort of rainbow effect using this clock over there. So that's pretty cool. This thing over here is even cooler. You can actually use animated textures on that model to create some really cool stuff. So if I press this button, you can see that it has spooky moving text, and this is just using an animated texture, obviously with inside these blocks on an arm stand, and I've got a little color thing going on as well behind it. So I think that's really cool, and I think the sort of things that you could accomplish with this are, you could do some pretty cool things. Then lastly, we have this typewriter sort of thing, again using the animated textures, but I thought it looked pretty cool. And then lastly, there's this little one over here, and I don't know if you can see it, but I've used this sort of barely visible text, and as soon as I apply the glowing effect to it, you can see it easily. So this one actually isn't hidden inside any blocks. It just has an opacity of 10%. And now, unfortunately, you cannot use a fully transparent texture. It has to have a transparency of at least 10%. So you can't make it totally invisible, but you can make it sort of more difficult to see, especially if it was dark or not moving. It would be a lot more difficult to see, so you could create some cool stuff with that. So I know a lot of you won't know how to create a resource pack to accomplish this effect. You can watch my series Modeling Minecraft if you want to have a look at how to create block models and how to do this kind of stuff. But if you don't want to watch that, you can actually accomplish this effect without a resource pack, just using armor stands and items in their head slot. Now this is a lot more difficult and a lot more time consuming. I kind of tried to make this, it says hi, and it's just using a bunch of armor stands with torches and a button posed in different sort of directions and stuff. I believe Mr. Goresso is actually making an sort of like armor stand modeler, so you can actually create intricate models using Armorstands. So once that's done, you can probably do this kind of thing a lot easier and create some cool little things without the use of resource packs as well. But obviously with resource packs you can accomplish a lot more, such as the animated textures, which I still think is absolutely awesome. Anyway, that's all I have for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope that some of you guys will use this sort of concept in maps or anything like that. I'd love to see what else is possible using this kind of idea. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.